Paris.
Just created this brand and this persona and this character, and I've been stuck with her ever since.
Paris, I was looking back at 2011 and Daily Variety's cover, Paris Hilton, billion-dollar entrepreneur, and now we're checking in with you 9 years later for this documentary, for This Is Paris. Why did you want to tell your story in a deeper way this way?
I just felt like now was the perfect time. I've been through so much in my life, and I've only really shown my character. I never really showed who I truly am. And I wanted people to know there's a lot more to me than what I've put out there, and also the experiences I've went through.
Something happened in my childhood that I've never talked about with anyone.
I just heard screaming, bloody murder.
But I couldn't tell you guys because every time I tried, I would get punished by them.
What we're talking about here is the quote-unquote troubled teen industry, and in particular your experiences going to these schools like the Provo Canyon School and the call to action for Breaking Code Silence. So tell me a little bit about Breaking Code Silence.
Breaking Code Silence is a movement for survivors to come forward with their stories. We are going to expose these schools for what they're doing to children, because it's abuse, and no child should ever have to go through any of this. It's literally complete hell and torture.
I still have nightmares about it.
Here we are at Paris's school.
And the only thing that saved my sanity was thinking about who I wanted to become when I got out of there.
My ultimate goal is to shut these places down because they shouldn't exist, and no child should ever have to go through what I went through.
When you initially made this documentary, what was your original imagining of what you were going to talk about?
I originally thought it was just going to be about my life and my business, and I had no idea I would, delve into so many things that I went through. So that all just happened organically because I really just had so much trust in Alexandra, the director, where we had this sisterly bond where I could tell her anything. That's when the real story came out. It was not what I was expecting, for sure.
Sorry, I'm so used to playing a character that it's hard for me to be normal.
They come to you and they're like, hey, we want to make a documentary about your life. What was your initial reaction?
My first reaction was no, because I've been offered to do this so many times and I've said no. Didn't feel like it was the right time ever. And then when IPC approached me with this and told me their vision and the concept of it, I was very impressed with them. And that's why I finally agreed to do it after a lot of persuading.
So what was it like giving over the reins?
It was hard. I'm so used to being completely in control of everything. And with this, I gave up all of my control and really put it into their hands and really trusted them. There was so many things that I was like, oh my God, I cannot have the world see this. We need to cut that part out. And I didn't have that control, which I'm so used to with every other project I've done. After talking with them and them explaining to me why it's important to keep all this in, then I just said, you know what, this is real, this is who I am, and I might as well show the world that than the person that I invented who really isn't me.
She's probably one of the most intelligent people you'll ever meet. And the mask is sometimes putting up the stupid persona or the voice.
I haven't watched it with my family yet. Kind of nervous to watch it with them because I know it's going to be so hard for them to see because my parents had no idea what I was going through. And, I think just obviously watching the film, there's just so much detail that goes into it. And I'm really putting it all out there. So I think it's going to definitely be hard for my mom and dad to watch that.
I'm always putting on this facade or just happy, perfect life.
While Paris, the person, went through this, Paris Hilton, the brand, is also bringing such light to this important issue. So why do you feel like it is important to shine a light on something like this?
I think it's so important. I feel very blessed. I feel that God gave me a certain gift. And when somebody has that platform and could really make a difference, it's a huge power. And I want to use that power in the right way to help save people's lives.
How do you feel like this is Paris in particular aligns with your brand, or does it redefine your brand?
I think, it definitely redefines my brand. I think it just shows that there's so much more to me. I think so many people are used to seeing the glitter and the unicorns and the sparkles and the Barbie of it all. But when it comes down to it, there is so much more to that than the girl you see on the red carpets or behind the DJ booth. There's actually a real human.
They stayed on a farm.
Y'all want to help me pluck some chickens?
I can't do that. I'll throw up.
You rewatched The Simple Life during quarantine. What was that experience like?
So much fun. Just watching it brings back so many memories of just so many fun times.
It was kind of the beginning of the creation of this persona. When you watch it back, are you like remembering the wheels ticking of being like, I am fooling all these people?
Yes, definitely. Just when I watch like certain lines, I would say like, what's Walmart? Do they sell walls there? Like, I'm like, you know exactly what Walmart is. And you were like, it's just funny to watch me just playing this character because it's not who I am at all. Just see what I would come up with like on the fly. It's pretty brilliant. I'm not a dumb blonde. I'm just really good at pretending to be one.
In this film, you guys really get into that idea that you really created the influencer space throughout your career.
I wouldn't be here today if it hadn't been for, number one, her starting off in the reality world and her introducing me to the world.
How have you seen it change and shift towards more social justice causes and maybe even less of like that curated, filtered approach that it had grown into, especially recently?
I think it's amazing what it's morphed into. You know, obviously there's some negative that comes along with it, but the people who are using it in the right way, I'm just so impressed because the more people talk, the bigger difference it can make. So I think activism and being an activist is the new influencer.
Viewers think we have an insight into who Paris is, but now today, how do you describe you?
I am just never been happier. I'm in the best place I've ever been in my life. And I'm just excited for the future and the next phase in my life. I feel that I've grown up so much, especially in the past year. Doing this film, I just really had so many realizations and realized who I truly am and why I am the way I am, and just really just going back and just reliving so many parts of my past that I went through. And just so proud of what a strong woman I am.